Welcome to Beneath the Surface, a space where clinical insight meets holistic healing. I'm Joplin Monique, a holistic coach and consultant. I'm joined by Lasana Claxton, a licensed professional counselor. Together, we explore the emotional layers beneath our everyday lives, from personal healing to family patterns and the systems that shape us. So, in this space, we unpack a lot of emotional, mental, and just holistic areas of growth for our people. And today's episode, we are focusing on fear and how fear can block us from living in our truth. So, Miss Lasana, what's your experience with fear, either professionally or personally?
Oh, honey, when I think about fear, I think about I'm gonna start with personal
Mm,
because a lot of times people need to know that you've experienced a thing and you understand what they're feeling.
mm,
I fear used to control me. It used to control my decisions. It used to control my actions. It used to control my thoughts.
mm,
I wasn't sure where it came from, but I do remember just being afraid to tell my truth, being afraid to tell people that I was afraid.
right.
Uh, that the reason why I didn't pursue the career choice because I was afraid. The reason why I didn't run for homecoming queen because I was afraid. And I wonder about that fear if it was rooted in being bullied and teased
Mhm.
uh, in middle school about my dark complexion, because truth be told, I was bullied. I was teased about being dark skinned. So it made me feel like I wasn't beautiful
Uh,
or that dark skin was ugly. So it kept me from pursuing some of the things that I probably was really good at or that may have opened up opportunities for me. So I know what it feels like to be afraid
abs-
and to not know why you're afraid.
mhm. And that is what fear, the energy of fear is. It is usually a protective mechanism, you know, a way to protect ourselves from being emotionally hurt, to protect ourselves from being disappointed. And what ends up happening is what I've realized from my own personal experience is that it disconnects you from who spirit has created you to be. So you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to be yourself. You don't know what your values are anymore because you're pretty much going along with what everyone else thinks. And you're making decisions and living your life in a way that is societal standards almost, even if you don't agree with it,
Yes.
you know? And so as a holistic consultant and coach, the way that I view fear is a stagnation in energy, just a complete spiritual misalignment. Fear will block any anything good from coming in, and fear can look differently. And that's where I want to go with our conversation next. Fear fear can look as of make not making a decision. It
Yes.
can look like avoiding different pieces of our lives or different things that we know that we should do. So for you, I know you mentioned how fear showed up in your decision making and things like that. I identify with fear of vulnerability. fear of being seen,
Mm,
fear of being judged.
mm,
So that was something that was big for me in
mhm.
the fear realm, and not allowing myself to be who I really am, regardless of how, eccentric that may be. And now it took 35 years, but I'm finally at a point where I'm just
Hey,
like, right. This is me. This is
absolutely.
me.
Unapologetically.
Absolutely. 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 So I know you mentioned fear showing up for you from a place of past experiences, and possibly, I don't know if you look at it as trauma, but past experiences for you. What are some ways that you've seen in your life, Miss Lasana, that fear has shown? I know I mentioned fear of vulnerability. What other ways can fear show up in our lives?
And I'm glad that you doubled back to that
Hmm.
because what I do want listeners to know is that fear is a natural response to a perceived threat,
Absolutely.
and it triggers the fight or flight reaction, increased heart rate, adrenaline. All that is happening, and we don't know. We know that it's fear. It feels like fear, but there's so much happening in the body
Hmm.
because of the fear. But to get back to what you were asking me,
Hmm.
I remember growing up, and my dad had this. How do I say it? He had this amazing expectation
Hmm.
for me and my brother. I mean, and even my sister when she came along. He just had these great expectations for us. And people were aware of these expectations. And they would say things like if they saw me doing something that maybe wasn't, it stepped out of what they perceived the expectations of my dad was. I'm going to tell your dad.
Hmm.
What would your dad think if you were doing that? So
Hmm.
then I grew this fear of, oh my God, what can I do that, that they're not going to tell my dad? Or is that wrong what I'm doing? I really wasn't doing anything. I was just chewing an orange real fast. You know?
Hmm.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What would your dad think if you were doing that? So it's like that fear grew up in me,
Right.
feeling that I needed to be a certain way. And if I wasn't that way, there was something wrong with me.
Right.
Or I was going to get in some type of trouble, or there would be some form of discipline.
Right.
So now
Right.
here I am afraid,
Mhm.
and I don't even know why.
And that,
All I just know that I won't get in trouble.
right, right, right. And that sounds like, even as an adult, as we look into how that fear as a child translated into you as an adult and trust, I had the same fear. Different parent, but same fear. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So it could be the fear of, as an adult, it could be the fear of letting go of that pattern, letting go of that belief that
Hmm.
I'm going to disappoint someone, or I'm going to
Yeah.
get in trouble. And the fear of letting go, that a lot of people struggle with
Ooh,
that. And holding on, to people and relationships that need to be let go,
yes.
holding on to jobs and roles in our families and things of that sort that need to be let go. Okay. But it's the fear of, it ends up being the fear of the unknown. Like, what
Oh,
happens if I let this go?
yes.
You
Because
know?
I've been told that if I do it this way, it may not work out. And I don't want it not to work out because then I'm like, have I failed? So now I have the fear of failure.
That part. That part. And it kind of leads us to our next key fear that we can explore with our listeners, is the fear of uncomfortable truths.
Mm,
So the fear of knowing something deep down but avoiding it. that can look like what we just talked about, knowing that something isn't serving you.
Mm,
Clear as day.
mm. Girl.
knowing, knowing I feel this emotion and it's causing a physical ache or pain, like you spoke about, and not doing anything about it because that can't be the case. That can't be the truth. Yes, it is. and
It is
so,
so the truth.
yes, yes. So, what are your thoughts about that? The fear of those uncomfortable truths.
Oh, my
Um,
God.
yeah. Oh, I know it takes a
Oh.
minute sometimes, but my goodness.
And I'm going to share a feeling that I'm having right now, even as I think about fear of uncomfortable truths. I immediately felt a feeling of sadness,
Mm,
feeling disappointed, feeling hurt, because some of those uncomfortable truths are that there are people in your family who don't like you.
mhm,
Some of those truths are there are people in your family who are jealous of
mhm.
you. And that's not who you are,
Take
because the opportunities that you took and you seized, they had those same opportunities.
absolutely.
And it is so unfair
Mhm,
for them to treat you or to be jealous or to not like you because you seized those moments. You trust God.
right.
I've never been one, Joplin, to flaunt my education,
Mm,
flaunt my accomplishments.
mm,
As a matter of fact, I think sometimes I avoid talking about them because I don't want other people to feel uncomfortable.
mm,
So
mm,
I don't talk about it. I avoid conversations about education or even my relationship in the church and just things that I've done, things that I know how to do. I am not, I just try.
mhm,
I'm not good at everything, but I'll try it. I'll
mm,
try anything.
mhm.
And I just remember the word of God says you put your hand towards something, he'll bless it.
Absolutely.
So I try it, I do it, and it works. I'm not, I don't know everything. Yes, I have a master's degree. I've mastered counseling and understanding behaviors.
Mhm, mhm,
I'm not a master of everything that I do, but I truly believe that God gives me things
mhm,
and I connect with my people of
mhm,
my circle
mhm,
of colleagues and friends. And yes, things happen.
mhm, mhm,
So I have been a victim or that person, I guess I should say, of avoiding conversations, avoiding truths
right.
because they were uncomfortable. I was afraid because who wants people to not like you?
Right.
And, we make those statements like, well, I don't care. I don't
Yeah, we
care
do.
if you don't like me. You ain't got to like me. You're lying
Correct.
because we do care. Just
Right.
so you know,
Right.
you're lying
Right.
because you do care.
That's it.
Yes, you care.
That's it.
So I do
That's
care. I do want to be accepted. Come on, stop playing with the thing that is true. There are more uncomfortable truths. Yes, I want to be accepted. And yes, that may be uncomfortable
mhm.
because
But
you got everybody telling you you shouldn't or you don't need to be accepted. I want to. I want people to like me.
that's it. That's it.
So
That's it.
that's my story.
And that's where the power lies. The power lies in being able to acknowledge that this is a
Yes.
part of our experiences. Yes, we fear not being accepted. Yes, we fear admitting that the person who or the people who are supposed to love us don't act like it.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes.
that's where the power lies. The power lies in the truth. And that's what I feel like as a community we struggle. We give the power to the fear instead of giving the power to the truth. And that is a decision.
Mhm.
That is a decision that I have made consciously is to stop running away from the truth and embrace the truth and leave the fear behind because the fear is not serving me. The
It is
fear
not.
the fear is not where God lives. The fear is not what I need to be connected to in order to see an improvement in my life, in my body, in my spirit. The fear does not serve me in a positive way. So I embrace the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how vulnerable, no matter how many people, things, beliefs I need to let go of.
Ooh.
I will do it. I will do it for myself, for my son, for my legacy,
Yes.
for what I am trying to build. I don't care what truth has to be embraced. And this is new. And this is why I'm so passionate about it because I was brought up in a fear mindset. But I see why and I understand fully why my elders and why my ancestors had to use fear as a survival mechanism, because there was
Mhm.
so much that they did not have control over. So
Yes.
much. So
I
much.
love that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It was so much they didn't have control over. And so being afraid is a part of our DNA, and I don't blame anyone for struggling with fear. I understand it, but the truth is the way to freedom. The
Absolutely.
holistic freedom is something I've been preaching for a while.
Yeah.
The truth of who you are, the truth of what you believe, the truth of what you represent is the path, the door, the opening to freedom. Point blank and period. If you lean into fear, you are in bondage.
Yes.
You
And
are in bondage.
when you look at the types of fear, because we definitely want people to understand,
Mhm.
there is something called rational fear. It's
Yes.
a genuine and response to immediate threat. Yes, it makes me go into action.
Right.
I need to either fight or I need to run, fight
Mhm.
or flight. So
Mhm.
yes,
Mhm.
you need some level of fear, that some level of anxiety, because like, oh, wait a minute, something's happening here. I need to move.
Right.
And then I think what we're more so talking about is the primal fear, that innate
Mhm.
programmed fear in our brains that was used as a survival mechanism.
Mm.
And we can move from that. We're talking more about the irrational fears, the fear that is not logically connected to an actual threat.
That part. Yes, ma'am.
And that can vary from person to person.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
it's just like,
Absolutely. So, I know your most of your experience is in the clinical side. What are some tools that you've given to clients or even advice that you've given to friends or colleagues to work through fear and access their truth or the truth that needs to be embraced?
I always start with your thought.
Mm.
I start with thoughts
Mhm.
because I believe that it starts with a thought. You think that there's danger, so you then feel fear,
Mhm.
and then you act upon it. There comes the behavior. So one of the tools that I use that I love, and my clients tend to love them too. Those who really want to do the work. Let's just say that.
Right.
Putting your thoughts on trial.
Mm.
What evidence do you have to prove that that thought that you had is true?
Mm,
Tell me what evidence do you have? And some, of course, some going to say, well, that's the pattern, but let's look at right now in this moment, because one of the things that we can't control is the past.
right.
We have absolutely no evidence that just because it happened in the past, it's going to happen again today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that we have to accept. So I definitely encourage them to put their thoughts on trial. I also encourage them to feel the emotion
Mm-hmm.
because you need to sit with that and deal with what's happening with you. So while we're feeling the emotion, we're going to accept that, accepting and acknowledge that this is happening. In this moment right here, I'm feeling afraid. Where's this coming from? I'm not going to use negative self-talk. Like, oh my God, I'm scared. This is gonna happen, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get kicked out my house. No, we're not gonna do that.
Right.
What we are going to do is we're gonna acknowledge that it's happening, okay? And we're gonna say, we're gonna use positive self-talk. I've been here before,
Mm-hmm.
and this too shall pass. I've
Absolutely.
been here before, and I can come out of this. So we're not negating that you're feeling everything that you're feeling. The fear is present. It's there, but you've felt fear before.
Yeah.
So now what are you going to do?
Right.
We're
Right.
not going to reach back into the past.
Right.
We're actually going to let go
Mm-hmm.
of those thoughts, those feelings of fear from the past, and we're going to be right here in this moment, and we're going to encourage ourselves. We're going to use the positive self-talk. We're going to put our thoughts on trial, and we're going to discover where it's coming from, and we're going to work through it. I tell clients all the time, Joplin Monique.
Mm-hmm.
I love saying your name, Joplin Monique. I tell them all the time, I'm the therapist. You have some therapists, they create a circle for the client. The client is in that circle and they're working with the client from the outside of that circle.
Mm-hmm.
But I get in the circle. I draw the circle around me and the client because I'm on this journey with you.
No, that's right.
I'm in this with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to work on these things together because I know what it feels like to be in that place.
Mm-hmm.
Those irrational thoughts, which encourages irrational fears.
Mm-hmm.
I
Absolutely.
will, I'm going to leave this with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's an acronym for fear, and it's false evidence appearing real. But
Mm-hmm.
from a clinical perspective, I want to leave this, feel the emotion, explore the trigger, accept the moment, and respond with strength.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And to pick up where you left off with the strength, my tools is pretty much what you said, feeling that moment. So my feeling that moment looks like grounding, meditation,
Mm,
okay?
mhm,
Centering myself to get out of those fear-based thoughts and getting
mhm.
myself back connected to my place in the universe, you know? Fear is not a weakness.
Thank
It
you.
it is a messenger. It is a messenger. Fear tells you that something is out of order, and to heal it is to reclaim your power, reclaim your place, reclaim your truth. So how I work through fear is to trace it back to its root. And
Absolutely.
and for me, my my doorway through healing is through the spiritual doorway. So I feel like every emotional truth has a spiritual root. That is my my doorway, my belief. And so
Hmm.
I trace the emotional wound back to the spiritual root. Okay. And that can look different for
I
anyone,
love that.
you
Absolutely.
know?
But that's yours.
Mhm.
That's for Joplin Monique.
Yes,
And I love that because we're different. We're all different,
right.
but we've been taught to fear differences.
Right. Right. Exactly. And that is something that I have learned tremendously is that my doorway was through the spiritual point of view. Everyone else's doorway, some doorways are through the mental health point of view. Some and whatever is your doorway is your doorway. Some people enter healing through a physical point of view. Okay.
Hmm.
And that is what I love so much about diving into healing and diving into a holistic point of view is that I don't discriminate anybody's view. I love them all and they all as long as we get to the healing we get
Yes.
to the healing. A phrase that I have been using repeatedly over the past couple of years has been healing by any means necessary. I don't
Ah,
care.
yeah.
I don't care what your doorway is. Heal that spirit, heal that heart, and release those fears or the wounds that are causing for the behavior that is
Hmm.
not contributing to the wellness of your life and the lives of our children because those things are what is causing a breakdown in our families and our relationships and our society, especially for my black people,
Yes. Oh my God.
especially for my black people. So I will leave that for me. Fear is power. Is it we can transmute it into power. We can transmute fear into truth. Fear is not a weakness. Just listen to what that fear is trying to tell you.
I love that. Yes, ma'am. Fear,
Okay?
it's a natural emotion.
Absolutely.
And we just have to transform our relationship with fear, promoting awareness, acceptance, and healthy responses.
Absolutely.
And yes, it
Absolutely.
can be overwhelming. But when we take time to acknowledge it,
Mm-hmm.
explore its source, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
accept the present moment, and choose how to respond,
Mm-hmm.
we empower ourselves to move forward with strength and resilience. And we become that best version of ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we deserve that.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We deserve that.
Mhm.
So, for my listeners, as a prompt or anything that when this fear rises up with you, I challenge you to do a self check-in. Take a moment, breathe, and ask yourself, what truth am I resisting? In that moment of fear, regardless of what the fear is, ask yourself that question. What truth am I resistant? And sit with whatever comes up without judgment. Now, there's going to be discomfort, but that is not danger. It is a sign of growth. Again, what truth am I resisting? Okay.
Absolutely.
If you found something helpful in today's episode, we love for you to subscribe and leave us a comment. We'll see you next time as we continue exploring what lies beneath the surface.